Hi, everybody. Welcome back to another episode of Treble. Now, this week, there's so much going on. There's so many things happening in life in general. And I am so excited that I'm still able to record because that's something that I really want to do, right? But to get started, right, we're just going to talk about new music, new albums, honorable mentions because I just didn't have the time. There's been so much going on in life. It's been a little bit chaotic, but we're pushing through, right? We're human beings. We're going through what we're going through. But at the end, I still want to share this with you and I still want to do these episodes because I'm having so much fun, even like with the editing, with the promos, everything. I'm actually doing everything, okay, just for you guys so you guys can listen and watch and enjoy. All right, let's start with honorable mentions this week. Now, these albums are just albums that I listened. I didn't have the time to review, really go into depth with these two albums. So the first one is Pink Panther's Fancy That, her mixtape. I think this mixtape's pretty well done. I do enjoy her signature sound. It kind of reminds me of like that the Boys a Liar sound, right? That's where she gravitated to. Of course, she blew up with that song featuring Ice Spice. And so I think she took a lot of inspiration from that on this project. Now, I really do enjoy Tonight, Illegal, and also Stateside. Those songs were amazing. I really did enjoy those. You should go check it out. I think it's a really great, solid album. It has more of like that summer feel, which I think a lot of us want to enjoy, and I want artists to do the same. I want them to release music that gives me that type of vibe, just because we're getting into the hotter days. It's summer's come around the corner, and so I just think it was a perfect album to be put out. Second album I'm going to talk about is Kali Uchis, Sincerely. Now, I'm not the biggest Kali Uchis fan, to be honest. I just like certain songs. I think this album wasn't as diverse as Orquideas. Orquideas has some of my favorite tracks from Kali because that album was a mixture of reggaeton, pop Latino. It had R&B, her signature sound. So she played around with the different genres in that era. So I think some of my favorite songs were definitely Igual que un Ángel featuring Peso Pluma, also Labios Mordidos featuring Karol G. I think those tracks are just my favorite till even currently. I think these are just amazing. Now, when it comes to her newest album, Silk Lingerie, Lose My Cool, and Daggers, I think are her top tracks off this project. I really did enjoy, I did enjoy the project, but like I said, it wasn't really diverse as her previous album. I just wanted to mention these two projects, because of the fact that I do enjoy them. I just didn't really take the time to really dig deep and dissect lyrics and go into that mode of like, let me do my research on this. Next, we are talking about albums. Two specific albums that I really enjoyed this week. The first one is by Fuerza Regida, Expandía, which means manifest to make your dreams come true. And I think this album was greatly done. It's one of the better albums they've released in the last few years. Although it's not their strongest, it's not as strong as Balas Babies, which was released, I believe, like 3 years ago, somewhere around that time. And it steered away from the Jersey Club EDM type of album they did last year in Pero No Te Enamores. And I actually really enjoyed that album. I love that album. And if you pay attention to it, only half the album is really that Jersey EDM vibe. So I don't understand why people didn't like it. Because then the other half is corridos. It's their signature sound. So I don't understand to why it wasn't people's favorites. Now, I was very impressed that they were able to do something outside of their usual genre. And it's just one of those things that I really admire from artists, and when they try to do different things, different genres, and try different collaborations with other artists. So I did enjoy that. This album, Expandía, they returned to their traditional sound of corridos. You can tell by the lyrics that J.O.P., which is the main lead singer, he sounds more profane than ever. I think he's really elevating his vocals as well. I think it's, like I said, it's a solid album. I can even say it's kind of like a album of the year, right? They have so many diversity, and then they released the deluxe version, which we'll get into in a little bit. And I think they really did elevate it. They really did elevate it with the deluxe version. They messed around a little bit in the reggaeton pop Latino space in that deluxe version with those 3 additional tracks, but it was amazing. I actually give them props for trying something new. Some of my favorite tracks are Por Esos Ojos, which is their most popular song. It topped the Billboard Hot 100 at 79, which It's not super high, but it did break into the top Billboard 100, which is kind of unique and very rare for a song to do, I feel like, because we've had so much great music released within the last 3 months that I'm like, why isn't this a number one song on the Billboard Hot 100? This is definitely one of the better tracks. It talks about a person who has attained success after a long road of hardships and it still longs that desire from a loved one, the one that you love, that you're seeking to love for the rest of your life. So it's a very beautiful written song, and I can see why it's basically the fans' favorite. I don't believe it's an official single, but it is their most popular song. The next track is La Bubu featuring Bella Cath. Now, Bella Cath is a very interesting artist. I don't think people take her seriously because she just makes like fun, weird, very sexual type of verses whenever she is featured on a song, or even within her own music. It's just fun and playful, which that's something that I admire because you need that type of artist in the music space. You need to have someone fun. You need to have someone who's bringing something new, laughable to the table. I think Bella Cat does that with all her collaborations. So this is definitely one of my top favorites as well, La Bubu featuring Bella Cat. So check that one out. And the last track you should check out from this album is Godfather, which is the opener of the album. And I think it's just one of their better ones. It really sets the pace and the tone of this album. It depicts a story about pleasure and wanting to achieve more and do more. And so I think this really sets the tone. It's very cinematic. You can actually imagine this even being part of like a movie or something. So I think this song's very smart for them to do because it's very, like I said, it's very cinematic. It's one of those songs that you listen to and you can visually see what is happening. And I think that's very hard for artists and music to do. I think this was beautifully done. I really did enjoy it. So just give it a try. Check out this album. Give your own opinion. The next album I want to talk about is actually Blake Shelton's For Recreational Use Only. And I haven't really talked about country in a good while. And I don't know if you know this, but I love country. I think country is one of the most beautifully written music that's out there in the world. And I think that's why I gravitate towards this genre a lot. And especially in reflection times of my life, especially currently, I'm reflecting a lot on life and what I want to do and things that I want to achieve and accomplish and my next steps. There has been a lot of country artists releasing so much new music. I cannot believe it. I feel like I haven't felt this overwhelmed with country in a good while. And I don't say overwhelmed in a negative way. I say it in like, there's a lot. There is a lot and it's beautifully done. And it's just hard to get through so many new music sometimes. And I've been having kind of trouble keeping up with country, to be honest. I am listening to the certain artists that I do gravitate to, that I've been following for years. Maybe not so much listening to someone new. I still want to try it and listen to them. And eventually I'll get to all of those new artists. But back to Blake Shelton. This is one of his greatest works. I really do believe he is raw, he's honest, he's sincere in this album. You know, he talks about his fears, insecurities, his worries, his wonders with if his music's going to make an impact or if people are even listening because, you know, it's not charting. And sure, charts don't define an artist, but when music does chart, that is showing the artist that their music is making an impact. You know, people are listening, people are streaming. And he did wonder before releasing this album or creating this album that if people were even going to listen. I believe his feelings are valid. You're wondering if people are going to listen to you because when artists get older, they do tend to be pushed away by these new artists in the charts, in media, in social media. Now that we're growing up with social media, a lot of older artists don't really post on social media. They're not really active on social media. A lot of them are becoming a little bit irrelevant just because of that aspect itself. We're in this world where we're in social media, we're on our phones, we post everything. And I think that has to do a lot in the music industry nowadays. There's an adaptation that needs to happen. And in an interview with Apple that he had, he said that when he was filming The Voice, he felt like he was left out of the loop in the Nashville scenes. He wasn't getting to know the new artists that were coming up, artists like Morgan Wallen and Luke Combs, when he was starting to see them on the charts, not just the country charts, but also in the Billboard Hot 100, which is, like I said, it's very hard to break through that. And for these artists to be in the top 10, top 5, having a number one country single in the country was really an eye-opener for him to see, like, wow, I am quote unquote, you know, one of the older guys. This new generation is taking over the charts. So I think This whole album really represents that, really represents like his raw, his true, his honest feelings. And this album's truly one of my favorites that he has done in the last, I want to say 10 years. I like him. He has very strong tracks, but I've never liked a full album from Blake Shelton, I think, until today. But then again, as I'm getting older, I think I'm seeing life more, I'm understanding life more. So there's a lot more connections that I can have with artists like Blake. Some of my favorite tracks from this project are Heaven Sweet Home featuring Craig Morgan, Life's Been Coming Too Fast, and Years featuring John Anderson, in which they all have a similar thing about life and how life changes real quickly and how it can pass you by so fast. In these songs, they also want you to make sure to live the best life that you can. Live life, enjoy life, be in the present, and enjoy it with those that you love, those that you care about. So if you don't want to check out the whole album, check out these tracks. They're amazing. You won't regret them. They're beautifully written, beautifully done. And I think this, like I said, I think this is his best album today. It is one of my favorites. All right, let's get to the final segment of our video. And we are going to talk about the singles that were released. There has been so many singles released this week. I just couldn't choose. And there were just like top hitters. The first one is Belinda featuring Xavi with Mírame Feliz. Guys, I'm going to post the cover. The cover is stunning. I love the cover. I think we need to stay away and stray away from covers that literally just have words. Like, you need to be in the cover. I'm so tired of like these plain simple covers. I want you to be on the photo. I want you to have some props. I want you to tell a story with the photo, because the picture says 1,000 words. So this cover, beautiful, 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 beautiful. But yes, the song is called Mírame Feliz. It's a corrido track. It's rooted in heartbreak and healing, and it's a clear sign that she has no intention of leaving the corridos movement. Other people already were on the corridos movement and they jumped out of the wagon. And I believe she's truly craving out a space within the corrido genre. She's been making hits after hits after hits. Like I said in a previous video, heartbreak makes you make the best kind of music. And I believe she's truly showing us that with the last few releases she's done. And it's just, they're out of this world. I really am enjoying this era of Belinda. In this song, she's talking about someone who broke her heart, who now regrets breaking her heart and ending the relationship because he sees her happy. But she is bold enough to be like, Mírame Feliz, which translates to look at me, I'm happy. And so I think for her to truly do this, it's self-healing, because come on, when someone does break your heart, you didn't want to end the relationship. They wanted to end it with you. And sometimes, you know what? You are better without them. And sometimes when someone breaks up with you, you are dodging a bullet. God is redirecting you somewhere else. This song is beautifully done. Javi's raspy little like voice is amazing. They sound great together. I can't wait for her new album. It's coming out later this year, which eventually I am going to do a full review when it does. The singles ever since Cactus, which was released 2 years ago. Can't believe it's been 2 years. That song pivoted her that way into this direction. And I truly believe she's been shining in this space. So definitely go check this song out. Next, we have David Archuleta with Can I Call You? I am so happy David Archuleta is moving into this new direction. It's been seamlessly done. The last few years, he's been trying to transition since his, story of him coming out and being more accepted in the LGBT community, and just having that transition, even within his songs and his lyrics, has been something that I truly am inspired by, because he's making music for us. He's making music for the LGBT community, because we need representation. We need someone who is speaking the words that we're feeling, that we're thinking. And I think he's doing a beautiful job with this. His new single, it's just a smooth pop song. He's talking about missing someone who he wants, and he's reminiscing everything that he likes about him. And even though they're in long distance, he believes even a phone call is just enough to just keep loving this person. And even now that they are long distance, you still want to be with them. You still want to just give them that call, because a call is just enough for you to sustain that that love and connection that you've been having with this person. I think it's beautifully done. I also been loving his music recently. He's flirty, fun, and sensual, without all the vulgarity. He also talks about passion and love in the LGBT community, which is amazing because we need that representation. I know the only other artists that have done this have been Jordy, have been Troye Sivan, have been Sam Smith, and I think David adds a different element to this type of group because he's not a pop star guy. He's not as successful. Not to say successful. That's the wrong word. He's not as famous, right? He used to be so famous. That famous, of course, it went down a little bit. He took a break from music, but now that he's finding who he is, finding his true self, I think he can have a comeback. He can have a really true comeback because his music has been amazing. His last single, Creme Brulee, it's smooth, it's sexual, it's fun, it's flirty, and it just gives you the details without giving you the details, if you know what I mean. And so this new direction musically has just been amazing, and I just cannot wait for him to release his new album. Next, we are talking about Jake Miller, A Million Ways to Miss You, his new single. Now, let me tell you guys about something about Jake Miller. Jake Miller is seriously one of my favorite artists of all time. I feel like he needs to be more praised. He needs to be more successful. He needs to get the credits that he deserves because you know why? He writes his music. He produces his music. Every single song he has created has been from his heart. And I think that what solidifies a great musician. I think this album is going to be one of his greatest work of all time. My favorite album from him is called 2 a.m. in LA. If you want an introduction of who Jake Miller was, definitely check that one out because that album is what solidified me to be a Jake Miller stan. It's beautifully done, beautifully written. Like I said, heartbreak really makes the greatest kind of music. I definitely do think that this album is going to be a whole different aspect because right now he's no longer in that stage of like heartbreak. He is now in love, married, and so enjoying his life, being the best artist that he could, being the best husband that he can be. A Million Ways to Miss You is this pop track. He talks about his wife. He talks about his love towards her. He talks about how much he will always find a way to miss her when they are apart. He shares moments when he's not doing his best. She's always there to make his life better. And I think the lyrics are very straightforward. There's no really hidden meaning between them. He's telling you the story. He's telling you what he loves about his wife. He's telling you when he thinks about her. I love this song. This song's truly, truly one of his better tracks. I can't wait for his new album, Balance, to be released this July, which we've been waiting for an album for about 3 years. And I can't wait to see what else he has to talk about because now that he is married, he's in a different headspace. He's older. He's more mature. And I think the music represents that very well. And I truly believe this is going to be one of his better work. I just can't wait. Like I said, he's one of my favorite artists. I truly connect with his music. And I think it's just he's one of the better pop guys out there right now. I can't wait for him to be on the charts. I can't wait for him to get the Grammys that he deserves because there's a lot of artists out there who don't get that push, they don't get that recognition. Why? Because they're not signed to major record labels. But if an artist can make music, create it, release it, and create a genuine fan base, because he has a genuine fan base over there in Asia, he's huge over there. And even though he's not huge here, he deserves it. He has written so many beautiful songs, so many incredible albums. You just need to give him a chance. So definitely check him out. Check out his new single and check out his other projects as well. Now, officially, Becky G has launched her first single in 2025 with Que Haces featuring Manuel Turizo. And I'm gonna be very honest, when I first listened to it, I felt like it was too simple. It was unexpected because I was expecting, when she was teasing this collab, I was expecting something more. Manuel has solidified his status in the music industry. Of course, Becky G has been doing music forever. She has done so many accolades, so much incredible music. So I expected something more. It gave me the same kind of like reaction to when I was expecting the collaboration between Maroon 5 and Lisa with Priceless. I think that's the best comparison I can have because at first listen, I'm like, oh my God, I was expecting something different, something that was out of this world, something that just was better. But as I listened to the song more, right? I was listening to Que Haces. By the third listen, I got into it. I really did enjoy it. I listened to the lyrics. The mix of merengue and bachata in the song is fun, and it strays away from her música mexicana sound, which she's been doing for the last, I believe, like 3 to 4 years. And this song is just fun. It's about having fun. Not to say her música mexicana music was bad, but when it comes to that genre, it's really powerful with the lyrics, the emotion. And so it was nice for us to get that fun song, to get that flirty song, to get that song that gets us ready for the summer, because we are ready for summer. In some places of the country, it's getting hot, and we don't want that, slower music. We actually want the fun party, let's dance type of music. And I think her releasing this was actually very smart, because it's just a little step back into like the reggaeton pop Latino world. And so, yeah, it's fun. It's flirty. I love the fact that it's very bold as well, because it talks about asking your crush if they want to go out and hang out. You're just becoming bold, and that you just want to have fun with this person that you have a crush on. For the last few songs that I want to talk about, the first one is Tyla's Bliss. Now, I was very surprised by this song. I didn't even realize she was going to release a new song. I'm still jamming out to Push to Start. But what I love about this song, actually, is that she steps away from her signature Afrobeat sound. She's delivering this pop R&B track where she talks about a lover she never wants to be apart from. You can really, listen to her vocals. She has great vocal abilities. I feel like this shows her vocal abilities a lot more. And I think the production made a big difference, because when it came to her Afrobeat sounds, of course, she had beautiful vocals, but there's just this certain kind of style that you have to keep with that beat. But with this pop R&B track, she really did shine. I was like very surprised. I'm like, whoa, like she's delivering, and I really do enjoy the lyrics. Some of my favorite lyrics from this is throw your arms around me, need to feel your passion, you and I create magic, I discover wholeness when you look into my eyes. So like, that's beautifully done. I really did enjoy that. And you can feel like when she delivers this, it's like there's emotion there's feelings, there's depth. The chorus plays a big part, because the chorus is super catchy and super easy to remember. And when you can sing along to it, which makes the song even catchier, fun. It's more radio friendly than other tracks who don't have a chorus, or a chorus that's easily repetitive. Definitely check out Tyla's Bliss. I'm still trying to come down from her last album, because I've been listening to her last album these past like 3 months. Like, that album was released a long time ago, and so then for me to just re-listen to it, it puts me in a great mood. But I am so excited for her new ventures. I hope she tries different genres and sit in within that Afrobeat, but also explore other genres, because I feel like as an artist, I love when artists do that. So I cannot wait for her future. And the last artist we are going to talk about is Miley Cyrus, More to Lose. She delivers this powerful ballad from her upcoming album, Something Beautiful. I'm going to be honest, this is the only song I enjoyed since the last few releases she's had. I hope that not all these tracks are similar, because it reminds me of like Younger Now from that era, but more adult, mature. Gives me an elevated version of that. So I do think it's not going to be my favorite, but I'm still waiting for it. I still want to get the full experience. I still want to listen to all the songs together and really have that experience within this album. I think this song is very powerful. She's literally alluding to an on-again romance with her ex, Liam Hemsworth. She sings about being trapped in a cycle of indecision and staying in a relationship that she knows it's coming to an end, but she's still trying to hold on to hope and find something that will change and keep them together. So I think this song was beautifully written. She did amazing. I did enjoy this. Now, like I said before, we're going into summer. I do want those summer tracks. I do want the fun stuff. I do want, those party songs that we can play during this time when it's hot outside, when there's more gatherings of people, when people are coming out a little bit more, right? So this, like I said, this song is beautifully done. My favorite so far of these new tracks that she's released recently. And I hope there's no more ballads. I hope we do get a little bit more diversity. We do get more exploration, because her last album, Endless Summer Vacation, was amazing. I enjoyed it so much because of how diverse it was. She had her ballads, she had her pop, she had, electronics in there. She had like pop rock. So like she had a mixture of everything in that album. And I did truly do enjoy that. That was Miley Cyrus, More to Lose. I cannot wait for her album. It's coming out at the end of this month. So stay tuned because I will definitely be talking about it. In closing, that was this week's episode of Treble. Let me know down in the comments of what releases this week you enjoyed, whether I talked about them or not. I'm curious to know because there was a lot of music to listen to and I just couldn't get through it all. And plus, there's a lot happening, like I said, in my personal life. So it's been kind of hard to really dig deep and really dissect a lot of the new music. Thank you so much for those of you who tuned in. And if you're feeling extra generous, I would truly appreciate if you can give me a 5-star rating either on Spotify or Apple Podcasts. Or if you're watching this on YouTube, don't forget to hit that like, subscribe, and just check out all these artists that I talked about. A lot of these artists, like I said, some of them are older, some of them are not as famous. And so give them that chance. Give them that chance to see what else they can come up with and what they can do. And so I truly respect artists who are willing to diverse and not give up and truly shine and do as much as they can to create the music that they love. So I will see you on next week for another new episode. Remember, say it louder. It's only Treble.